Alright, so if you hear a little bit of extra background stuff, it's because my roommate who's behind a wall. But they're not the thickest walls. They're not super duper sound canceling at all, really. But he just got God of War from 2018, I guess it's number 3, so I apologize if you're picking that up. It's probably more interesting than these videos anyway, though. The Man from Ul'dah is the next story quest we're getting here. We're on some docks. Wow, what did I... That wasn't at all what I meant to type. Weird. Alright. Cutscene. Glad though I am to have arrived, I would remind you that we are far from home, with limited resources at our disposal. Duly noted, brother. I shall take care not to enjoy myself. In any event, Doma is our final destination, and our first order of business should be to secure passage there. Captain Carvelane, I realize you pledged only to take us as far as Kugane, and I have no desire to change the terms of our agreement. I should, however, be interested to know how you would go about reaching Othard, were you in our position. At the risk of stating the obvious, you are in a port. Surely there is a kind and generous soul here who will aid you for the right price. You cannot be the first traveler seeking passage to Doma. The captain makes a good point. 'Tis like that Yugiri and Gosetsu were forced to come here for the self-same reasons we were. They must have found a way to Othard, assuming they are not still in the city. Ere we seek passage, maybe we should first seek our friends. Leave to me, Alphino. Making friendly inquiries is my specialty. Lest you forget, I got plenty of practice in Ishgard, said Tataru. Captain Carvelane, could you direct us to the nearest tavern? Desperate for a drink, are we? You may find one in that large building just beyond the pier. He looks up to this giant kind of pagoda. Whether your journeys have come to an end or are about to begin, the Shiokaze hostelry, that's Shiokaze hostelry. A hostel is kind of like a hotel of sorts, but usually like really cheap. Just you get a bed, maybe a place to put one piece of luggage, but that's about it. Kind of a communal thing. It's an ideal place to rest, relax, and reflect, or so they say. And with that, my dear scions, I bid you farewell. As soon as we have replenished our supplies, we must away. Ours was ever a fast-moving business. The spice trade, you mean? Says Alice. But of course, surely you did not think I traveled halfway around the world and delivered you to your destination solely out of the kindness of my heart. Perish the thought. Thank you, Captain, and may the navigator watch over and keep you. He bows. Carvelane gives a kind of wave and a little bit of a head nod, and his big old Rogadin deckhand goes with him. Right then, to the hostelry. After you, says Tataru. After you. After you. I'm still gonna make her, just easier for me to distinguish that way. It's a big old open floor plan. Not a lot of tables. Kind of like a really shallow fire pit in the middle. Or it looks like a fire pit. Got some switchback.
By the 12. I thought Ishgard remarkable, but this... We are certainly not in Eorzea anymore.
A tavern is a tavern, Alphino, here or anywhere else. Now, if you'll excuse me, it's time to do what I do best.
Schmooze, Tataru, schmooze.
Oh, 1,000 pardons, my lady.
She runs right into somebody.
The signs of the 7th dawn, I presume. I hope your voyage was not too trying.
He's got kind of if you were an 8 or 10-year-old, maybe even a young teenage boy, that kind of across the forehead haircut and Morpheus glasses.
And you are?
Ah, yes, of course. Forgive me. Hancock of the East Ul'dah Trading Company, at your service. On behalf of Chairman Lolorito, I bid you welcome to Kugane and invite you to take refreshments at our local offices.
Lolorito? I was aware his interests extended beyond the borders of Eorzea, but not so far as Kugane. Regardless, I am disinclined to accept the hospitality of grinning merchants, especially those who serve a master with whom we have such a difficult relationship.
My, such naked suspicion. I do hope that business with the Crystal Braves did not rob you of all faith in your fellow man. Or do you really think the chairman is plotting to drag you into another one of his grand schemes?
Well,
I beg your pardon? If you are trying to win my trust, you are failing quite spectacularly.
Oh dear, have I offended you? Once again, I must apologize. Too much time in the Far East, you see. One is compelled to talk in circles round everything here, and one finds oneself longing for the invigoratingly candid speech of the Ul'dah markets. Though I see now that this was neither the time nor the place to indulge said longing. Might I suggest that we continue this conversation at the company offices? Too many eyes and ears here, you understand. 'Twould be decidedly reckless to say any more.
If I may favor you with the invigorating candy you apparently crave, it would be decidedly reckless to follow a man I neither know nor trust. Give me one good reason why we should accept Lord Lolorito's invitation.
Now there's the young diplomat I was told to expect. Very well then, I shall explain. You understand that you are come to a most reclusive and secretive nation, yes? One whose borders are closed to foreign trade save at this single port. Then it should come as no surprise that a great many parties have vested interests here. Merchants like myself are a given, of course, but for every one of us, you may be certain there is also an agent of a foreign government. Many notable nations and empires have embassies here, you know, including, of course, the Garlean Empire, with whom you have such a difficult relationship.
To paraphrase, Kugane is teeming with Imperial spies, one or several of whom could now be listening to our every word.
Something to that effect, yes. Beneath this veneer of bustling trade, a war for supremacy is being waged between world powers. One might say we were standing on the front lines, just not in public.
I still have my doubts, but he may have a point. I say we accept his invitation for now.
alright, everyone nods, screen goes dark. And we speak with Hancock. You know what? I'm sure there'll be some kind of tour, and if there's not, I will remind myself to get all the crystals. And you must be Mercy Valkyr, slayer of gods, rider of dragons, savior of Ishgard, stealer of pants. What? If some of the more puzzling rumors are to be believed, is that because I stole? I don't know. I knew it. May I say what an honor and pleasure it is to make your acquaintance, my lady. I just know you and I are going to get along famously. Now then, without further ado, allow me to escort you to the company offices. This being your first visit to our fair city, I shall make an effort to point out various landmarks along the way, if you'd be so good as to follow me. Can I mount? Nope. Okay, well, while I'm frickin' here... Where is it? Ethernet shot. I got one by the pier number 2. And we are going this. What's all this shit? Oh, fairy stuff. Okay, fairy stuff. We've got inside this big old pagoda Clan Centurio stuff. I don't know what that is yet. We've got through the pagoda repairman. Do I have to repair? Yeah, we'll figure it out. Find out when it's almost too late. Skywatcher and another. Yeah, let's just accept. Yeah, let's just turn the quest in. Everyone, if I could have your attention, please. You are now standing in Tenkanto. It's Tenkonto. Tenkanto. Loosely translated, the name means spires of drifting souls, which, as some of you may have deduced, makes reference to the aetheryte which stands over yonder. The design is markedly different from those of Charlayan, yet I trust its function is identical? A diplomat and a scholar, will wonders never cease. Far Eastern aetherite technologies have a long and storied tradition, I assure you. This particular example was constructed by the Oni Shishu, a collective of skilled craftsmen who guard their ancestral techniques with the utmost secrecy. In short, you will find it no less reliable than its Western counterparts. Attune, if you like. The man from Ul'dah is complete. I will attune, and then pick up the next quest and start a new video for it. Cool beans. Alright. End of video. I will see you next time for the next story quest.